Welcome to Project Zero Podcast, the first video podcast.
Oh yeah.
The way we're going to be setting this up, of course, we have our podcast that you could listen to at Project Zero Podcast, which is just a normal podcast. But then I think we're going to throw in every once in a while a video podcast. I think at the end of the day, it'd be really fun, and doing it live would always be fun. I at least think. But I'm one of your hosts, Zach. And of course, we have here Rodrick. Dr. Douche, who usually joins us on Project Zero Podcast, is not in this one. It's just me and you, Rodrick.
And I'm barely here because I have other things going on. Don't worry about it, though.
The Sedona trip may be back on if for the people that
If I play my cards right.
if people don't know, in previous Project Zero podcast, he had a lucky lady that stood him up that was supposed to be going to Sedona. He was supposed to a girl you never met.
The first time I was going to meet her was a freaking road trip.
That puts off a little bit of serial killer vibes, but
Yeah, I was scared for my life.
I don't know. I don't think it was gonna go that way, but so this is our first video podcast. Of course, we actually have some really good topics today. The way we're gonna do it, if you guys listen to our actual podcast that it's on Project Zero Podcast, we have a couple of stories that we usually end up doing, and then we kind of get into some games and stuff like that. We are going to bring at least one thing that we do in our podcast here on the video podcast, and that's the Dr. Rodrick show. I figure we have Rodrick. You might as well have the Dr. Rodrick show as well.
You better be quick before I get invited over or something.
I'm not going to hold my breath on that. I think you should be safe. The Dr. Rodrick show, just to kind of let everybody know, is that we have viewer questions that are submitted in, and then we just read those questions off. And then Dr. Rodrick, with his amazing ability to be able to answer any question, sounding somewhat intelligent on those answers.
I have life experiences.
He's got life experiences, mostly with, bad news, but that's okay. That's okay for this project, or for this segment. So, but some of the things that we're going to be talking about today, some of it's political. Actually, 2/3 of our, I think, topics are political, which you're not a very political person. You don't follow politics, right? At all.
The only politics I see are what's on the Discover page of Snapchat.
Whatever he sees on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter is going to be the only political news he gets. But we're going to be talking about Michael Flynn. His case was supposed to be dropped. We'll talk. I'll kind of explain some of the details in there. But his case was supposed to be dropped. Then it wasn't dropped because the judge is holding it up now. And then we're also going to be talking about the coronavirus. There's a lot of states, including our state here in Arizona, that's going to be opening up this week, or states that have already opened up. We'll be talking about, is it safe to do so now, I guess is the best way of putting it. And then we'll finish off with the Dr. Rodrick show. So it'll be a short podcast. Make sure to go to projectzeropodcast.com and listen to all of our podcasts. We really do have some fun with me, Rodrick, and Dr. Douche. He's a Twitch streamer that joins us on this podcast as well. So I think the first thing that we should talk about, which has been on everybody's mind for the last, 3 months or so, is the coronavirus. We talked about it on our previous podcast. Montana, at least some districts, have opened up schools, which makes no sense because school is ending in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I still don't get that. I mean, why would you invest your time into opening up schools to have the kids get out 2 weeks later? And it's not even kids graduating. I can see senior classes.
Right. That would make more sense, sorta, but still doesn't make sense to open up at this time.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say opening up, but maybe have like the ceremony in a way. Like if
right. I feel like they could do that safely.
Yeah.
In a big enough environment.
Yeah. And you could still social distance how many family really comes to a graduation to begin with? So
well, I've seen some big families.
That's true. Everyone's gonna sit 6 feet apart, though. But there's been some schools that have opened up. But there's a lot of states now. Here in Arizona, we'll talk about that one first, actually. It's officially fully open Friday. Like, the quarantine's over in Arizona.
Wait, 100% or?
100% quarantine's over Friday. Now, businesses still should practice social distancing. I think one of the provisions of opening up is that you can only allow half of what the max capacity in your building capacity in your building is. But gyms are opening up tomorrow.
That's like the last place I'm gonna go near for a while.
I know why. I don't know why you would go to a gym out of all places, but gyms are opening up. Restaurants opened up. But the big question is, do you think it's too early to open up?
I mean, they're opening it up because they said the curve is flattening, right?
Kind of. I mean, the curve is kind of flattening, but the thing is it's flattening with quarantining and being in your home. So as soon as we stop quarantining, do you think there's going to be a spike?
I mean, if everybody was actually following the guidelines to a T, then probably not, but I don't think that's been happening, so it just takes one person to start it all over again.
Yeah, I mean, I think we won't really know. I think the first kind of state that was opening up was Georgia, and I think that was the end of April, like beginning of May timeframe, so I don't think we'll really fully understand either the repercussions or what's going to end up happening from not quarantining anymore. So we'll have to get back to that end of May, maybe beginning of June, and kind of seeing where the numbers are. Coronavirus, definitely, at least countrywide, is definitely flattened out. The number of cases daily from the United States is the same that it's been for the last couple weeks at least. But I just, at least personally, I get what you're saying with they're not, not everybody was following it, but still enough people I think were following it, and especially when businesses are not opening. Even though you have people going out, maybe going grocery shopping, it's not like everybody was going to a restaurant and sitting down. Now that they're going to be doing that, I think you're going to see some increases already. They already project now, so it's kind of fluctuated the last couple weeks, but they projected as low as like 70,000 deaths in the U.S. because of coronavirus, and now it's jumped up to 147,000 deaths, and they contribute at least most of that to the lax quarantining now, where
so it spiked after they started dropping back.
Yeah, they're expecting now 147,000 deaths in the U.S. I think we're at 82,200 now, and this is by August, by the way, that they expect 147,000 deaths, which means that there's going to be 60,000 deaths in the next 8 weeks or so.
So I've heard that California, at least, is waiting until July to reevaluate if they're going to open up, and they're keeping their stay-at-home orders intact right now.
Yeah, so there is some parts that will still keep. I mean, they'll open up some things, but they're going to keep it a little bit more strict than other states. There's some states that are just like, let's open the floodgates. Who cares anymore? Which I just don't get at the but I mean, I think I saw someone post this on Facebook, and it makes so much sense. You know those Facebook little memes that says, hey, live in this cabin for a year and you got to give up this.
Oh yeah.
No one's getting that $1 million that you get for staying in that cabin, because no one can stay in their house and quarantine themselves without going out or ruining it for everybody else. So I think that at least personally, I think there's going to be a spike.
I mean, definitely. It just takes one person to start the wildfire.
Yeah, and then they say it's going to be coming back in August, so...
Wait, what's coming back? The virus?
The virus, yeah, because, I mean, there's no... We're back to quarantine, which I'm really sad about because I'm a huge football fan.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I mean, baseball season, they've announced that, that baseball could kick back up for spring training again. It'd be summer training, I guess, now in June. But baseball was supposed to start 2 months ago, and that's been pretty much canceled. NASCAR's back, but, I mean, I guess...
So, I've heard they said starting this Friday on the 15th, they can start having ball games, but without fans. So would they be opening up the baseball season, but with an empty stadium, or...
Well, that's what there's a lot of, at least when it comes to baseball and Major League Baseball, they're trying to come up with an agreement because they know there's going to be no fans that come, but 40% of the revenue for Major League Baseball is fans.
Right.
And so they're trying to figure out and they're trying to negotiate with players and saying, hey, you're only going to play half your season. Let's give you only half. I think they're saying revenue share, which is not a good move, I think, for the players. But I think you play half your games, you get half your pay. Unfortunately, owners are going to take a hit, of course, but
that's still better than nothing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're taking a hit no matter what, but because right now there's no fans, of course. There's no baseball teams, playing. Now, the thing is, and I've heard that this is not going to happen, but here in Arizona, of course we have spring training for, half the league. And they were talking about
half the league?
Half the league, yeah. I mean, because you got I know I forgot you're not a sports fan, but so during spring 15 teams play here in the Cactus League. And so that's why you see all those stadiums for like San Diego Padres, or you may see, Madigan where you're at in the state. But they're talking about playing the games here because Arizona's opening it up to where baseball can continue. But the thing is now the players are like, I want to be at my own home. I don't want to spend, all my time in Arizona, which I get too. I mean, imagine.
Oh, yeah, so they would basically have to move here for it's not a season, right? It's the training preseason or something?
It would be for the season as well.
Oh, the whole season.
Because the thing is the states that are not opening up, I mean, if you look at California, for example, if they're not going to allow sports, well, you have the San Diego Padres, you have the Los Angeles Dodgers, you have the Angels, you have the San Francisco Giants, you have the Athletics. So there's 5 Major League Baseball teams in California. Where are they going to play? Because if they can't play in California, they got to play somewhere if they're going to open up the season.
Wait, there's 5 teams?
5 teams in California. I think I counted that right. Padres, Dodgers, Angels, Giants, Athletics.
Wait, so what are all the cities that they're in? Are they any of them overlapping, or are they all separate?
Oakland and San Francisco, and then Los Angeles, and it's technically the Anaheim.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Is that only baseball, or do they have like multiple basketball teams and
you have multiple basketball teams? Man, you got to get into sports.
Well, here's something I didn't really get. I think somebody explained it to me one time, but I completely forgot. So like football is like Arizona Cardinals, basketball is Phoenix Suns. Like how come there's states and cities?
That's not true everywhere. I mean, Arizona Cardinals, when they first moved here in the late 80s, they were the Phoenix Cardinals until like 94. You also have, but you have the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay is a city. You have the Las Vegas Raiders now. That's a city. So it's not just states. There's only a couple of them that have states, like Minnesota Vikings, the Arizona Cardinals. But most of them are cities, no matter where you go.
Oh, okay.
So
today I learned.
Whoever you heard that from is an idiot.
Well, I think that was me. I was like, Arizona Cardinals and Phoenix Suns. What the hell's going on here?
I didn't mean that then. So yeah, I was gonna say, so baseball could be starting, could be here in Arizona, could be, who knows. But at the end of the day, I'm really nervous because I really want football to start come August and for preseason and then regular season September. But I'm really nervous that I'm not going to be able to see my football team this year. I don't want to cry on the podcast, so let's move on. I think what we'll do is we'll get together later this month, and I think we should really take a look at the coronavirus stats and see if there is a spike. Because if there is a spike, then clearly it was the wrong move to.
So you said they opened Georgia up like a month ago, and I think Texas too, right? At least that's
not
what I've heard from the
necessarily a month
governor.
ago, like a couple weeks ago, yeah.
So have they had any spikes, or is it about the same? Or
well, the thing is, it takes 5 days for symptoms to show up, if they do show up. Because I think there was a study done that only 25 to 50% of coronavirus cases show symptoms. So
can you still die from it if you don't have symptoms? Or are you just carrying it and you can infect people?
Correct. Yeah, you're mostly just carrying it and infecting people. So
that is crazy.
Speaking of coronavirus, there was a new poll that came out here, which I thought was pretty interesting. And I kind of want to get your perspective because you don't listen to the politics, but 6 out of 10 Americans don't believe Trump in this new poll when it comes to coronavirus. When he's on there, I mean, he has always those, every day it's the coronavirus debriefings or whatever you want to call it, and he just spews out stuff. I mean, did you hear about the Lysol story where he?
Oh yeah, I told him to ingest it. It would probably kill the virus or whatever.
Yeah, and then he was like, "No, I was just kidding." I was like, "You don't kid like that when there's millions of people watching."
True in that case. But I mean, if I said something like that, nobody would do it.
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, if you got a president of the United States and he tells you to do something, you're like, maybe.
I feel like you have to be kind of stupid to do that at all, even if it is the president telling you to do it.
I think we can both agree on this one thing. There's stupid people in America. There's stupid people all over the country, but there's just stupid people in general, and then they do listen to it. And the reason why I say that, I don't know the exact state. I think it was Virginia or Maryland or something like that. There was someone who ingested Lysol and had to go to the emergency room because of it.
I actually heard there was a spike in poison control calls after he made the announcement, too.
There was a spike in poison control
But then I heard that was like fake news because the normal amount was like 40, but then it went up to like 42 or something, so it wasn't actually that big of a spike, but they used it as a clickbait article.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I didn't see the exact numbers. I did hear that there was a spike, though, in poison control calls. So, but, I mean, could you imagine... I mean, what do you think what do you think, not necessarily of Trump, because I don't want to get into this political thing, because, you got the Republicans and the Democrats, but when you hear him speak or when you think of him as a president, what do you think, if that makes sense, since you don't follow politics?
Well, I mean, one thing I do like about Trump, though, which I'm not sure everyone agrees with me, but I like that he isn't really like a puppet. He says what's on his mind, what he wants to say, so he's not like fake, Mm-hmm. Like, that's what I like.
Okay. So if that's what you do like, as long as he doesn't say things like ingest Lysol, then...
So other than, like, the Lysol thing, what else is he saying about the virus? Like, he's saying it's not really much of a big deal, or...
Well, I mean, it matters. I mean, it matters. The thing is it matters on when you talk to him. When it was January, February, March, he said there's only 15 cases in the U.S. In no time, it's going to go down to... This is when it first came into the United States. So he said there's only 15 cases in the U.S. In no time, there'll be 0 cases, and we won't even know about it. And then he said...
I would believe that if those people weren't around other people,
Yeah. If you just immediately quarantine those guys.
Yeah. But I guess by the time they noticed and got the symptoms, they already infected other people.
Yeah, because it takes 5 days to show symptoms, and in those 5 days, you can infect people. So you could have You could have gotten the coronavirus when you went to the dollar store today.
I know.
And
trust me, I know.
First off, don't go to the dollar store. It's not a good move.
For some reason, I feel like it's better than going to Walmart. I don't know why. I guess less people.
That's true. You social distance a little bit better. But you could get the coronavirus today from somebody at that dollar store. And everybody that you talk to and meet and come in contact with, you could spread that virus. Right. And you wouldn't necessarily show symptoms until Monday, for example.
Yeah.
So everybody that you talk to, meet, see, pretty much you could have infected. And you don't even know you have the coronavirus yet. Or
that's crazy.
You could have the coronavirus, not show symptoms for those 14 days, and infect the next 2 weeks of people that you talk to.
But then after those 14 days, it's gone and I can't infect anybody?
Usually it's 14 days. Yeah, usually it's 14 days before you start improving. But so I definitely get your point there, where he does definitely say things that are on his mind. If you agree with those things or not, that is true, I think.
Right.
But when he says something, or when he does say stuff that's on his mind, according to this poll, 6 out of 10 people don't believe what Trump is saying about coronavirus. Do you believe him when he says, things will get better, or, whatever the case may be? Not even necessarily about coronavirus, but just anything in general.
You know what? I want to go as far as saying I believe that he believes everything he's saying, so he's not lying. So I guess I don't see why you wouldn't believe him. I mean, whether his stuff's based on facts and stuff, who knows? But he's not lying.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that they said. I think early in his presidency, it was funny because I think Trump said, I can't remember the whole story behind it, but they press secretary who was meeting with the media was like, well, those were alternative facts. Alternative facts. Like, what is alternative facts? That lies or so it's just alternative facts. But yeah,
I guess an alternative fact is a fact that might not be true, but you at least believe it is.
Yeah.
So that counts. Like, you can't fail a lie detector test if you actually believe it, you know?
If you believe your own shit coming out of your mouth, then you'll be fine.
But that gets scary because then once you start believing it, all bets are off.
Yeah. I wonder if that is true. If you do believe yourself, if it's a lie or not, can you pass a polygraph test? That's pretty interesting to me.
I'm pretty sure that's true. I've heard that because, like, you're not lying.
To yourself.
100% true.
So from what you believe, you're not lying.
Yeah. Like, if you, like, I don't know, I can't think of an example, but I remember something about, like, if you killed somebody, but you didn't believe you actually did it, even if, like, if you blacked out and killed somebody, and you're like, no, I didn't do that. But, like, somebody saw you do it, you're like, that wasn't me, I didn't do that, you know? So, like,
yeah,
you would pass it with flying colors, you know?
They could show you a video or something like that, and you're like, no, that couldn't have been.
But then when it comes to lie detectors, you could screw those up and fake it and everything anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. And so the other thing, and sorry, I clicked something and it went bad. But the other thing, speaking of Trump and the show that happens at the White House, Michael Flynn. We talked about this on our podcast a little bit ago. And when I say a little bit ago, a couple days ago. So his charges were dropped. For people that don't know. Yes. Well, they were supposed to.
Oh, I know. I knew that part. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Someone doesn't listen during their own podcast. But cases were dropped. Or were supposed to be dropped. He was he pleaded guilty, I think, in 2017, 2018. For lying to the FBI agents about the whole Russia-Trump meddling or meetups and stuff like that. Well, then all of a sudden, from the Department of Justice, and William Barr, who runs the Department of Justice, who's appointed by Trump, now has tried to get rid of his conviction, saying that he should have never been convicted in the first place. Well, as of today, I think it was just a couple of hours ago, a judge now has stopped those charges from being dropped and is going to allow people to pretty much submit things to the court about why the government shouldn't be dropping these charges as if they never happened. Companies that may be involved or people that are involved or whatever the case may be. But so Michael Flynn's charges were supposed to be dropped. Now they're not dropped. I think at the end of the day, it's like a political thing. You know, Michael Flynn was friends with Trump, and now all of a sudden the person appointed by Trump who runs the Department of Justice is now dropping charges against him.
So why were they dropped exactly? Like, was there new evidence or did something happen or did they just drop out of nowhere?
I mean, it just matters on who you talk to. There's some people saying, well, with new evidence coming out that, necessarily he didn't lie. Well, clearly he lied. He pleaded guilty. According to the report with the FBI, he did know that there was meetings between Russian officials and Trump's campaign. Did they do anything illegal? That's up to somebody else to decide. But he did lie about them meeting because he said they didn't, but they did. So technically, he did lie to an FBI agent during the investigation. And
what they did was try to drop him completely 100%?
Yeah,
not just lower the charges or something?
Nope, just drop him. From what William Barr was saying is pretty much that he should never have been charged to begin with.
But he is confirmed to be lying to the FBI?
He already pleaded guilty 2 years ago.
Yeah, I don't get it then.
Nobody does. Nobody does.
I mean, is it a crime to lie to the FBI, though?
It is.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
Multiple people got arrested in that investigation for lying to FBI.
Wait, in the same investigation?
Yeah.
So are their charges dropped, or are they still going? Is it just him?
No, it's just him.
That's why
I think it's fishy, because it's like you were friends with him, with Trump, Michael Flynn was, and then now all of a sudden his guy that he appoints to run the Department of Justice, who runs the FBI and everything else, is now dropping those charges. Definitely fishy business.
Yeah, so this judge might be onto something. Definitely look into it more.
Yeah. So it's going to be curious about, because I think I was reading something too that the judge was saying that he was not going to stop the charges from being dropped, and then all of a sudden he just changed his mind today. So I don't know.
So who actually decided to drop the charges?
The Department of Justice, so William Barr, and
this judge can override that?
well, yeah, because you can. It's a federal judge. He necessarily can't drop it, but he can. Like there's a. I don't even know how to word this. Like it's not.
Is
really
it kind of like a vote, like a unanimous decision has to be made or something to drop it?
No.
Or am I way off?
You're way off. At the end of the day, it goes to court. The court's saying that we can't drop those charges because we got to listen to everybody first.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, the thing is if we lived in a country where, like, if I ran for president and you can get away with murder because I could just drop your charges.
Well,
because you're my friend.
Where's Dr. Duche at?
That is interesting. I have not seen him today. But if I was friends with you and I was president, then I don't think I should be able to just drop charges, like for my friends.
Well, can't the president pardon people? Isn't that kind of the same thing?
He can pardon people, yeah, and there is no law against him pardoning friends either. But shouldn't? But shouldn't
I have his number?
Shouldn't there be though?
I mean, yes. That's a lot of power right there.
I know. I mean, the power that the president has, I think, not just Trump, but just any president, is crazy ridiculous. Like, we give him this much power, but at the end of the day, does that turn into a dictatorship? If he just starts pardoning his friends, if he's like, hey, the coronavirus is dangerous, we can't be voting right now, let's just not vote this year, and I'll just be president for 4 more years. I'm not saying he said that, but you know what I mean?
But about his power, like I always thought the president had all the power, like a king, I guess,
Yeah.
But then I heard you have to go through Congress, the House, and whatever.
Yeah.
So when he pardons people, that's just him, or do they still have to approve it?
No, he can
Or is that
pardon.
separate?
No,
That's
he
just
can
by
pardon.
itself?
He's just like, hey,
so
you
he does
in
have
the
some
back.
power, huh?
He does. There's a lot of things, not just that he just has power over everything that does not have to be approved by Congress.
Damn.
So, I guess it kind of is a king at the end of the day. King Trump, I guess.
I think he's more of an emperor.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's more of a, what's the people that please the well, this is gonna sound bad.
Jester?
Not a jester, but like the guy, like the Joker hat or whatever.
I think that is a jester, isn't it?
Was it? I don't think so.
Like he's like the royal fool or something.
Yeah, he's the royal fool. That's actually exactly. That's my opinion, by the way. Don't stop watching because
this is America.
America.
Make America. Wait, that's not your slogan, huh?
Well, we're gonna play this one game. I keep calling it a game. It's a segment. And it's the Dr. Rodrick show, and Rodrick here is going to answer
Dr. Rodrick here.
Dr. Rodrick, I'm sorry. Dr. Rodrick is going to answer some questions from people who submitted questions to us to review and answer. And if you would like to submit a question, you can actually submit questions in the comments. If there's any of them that seem pretty good, I'll definitely put them on the screen for you to read, and then you can answer. But these ones were submitted to us either via projectzeropodcast.com or emailing us at projectzeropodcast@gmail.com. Either one of those is how you can submit those questions to us. So let's go ahead and play I keep saying play. There you go again. Let's go ahead and do the Dr. Rodrick show.
Welcome to the Dr. Rodrick Show.
This advice is professional, but it's unlicensed.
And the Dr. Rodrick show on the first video podcast is up and going. Are you ready to answer these questions?
I am ready. I am older. I am wiser.
You're
I
older
got
and
the
wiser
answers.
from our last podcast 2 days ago.
Yes, a lot can happen in 2 days.
That's very true. So, so here's some of the questions that we have here. So, this one came in and it says, I got my dream job in a different country and my girlfriend wants to come along for the luxuries. They've never lived together. They've only been going out for 6 months. Should he just go with it or should he just run away?
Run away. What do you mean the luxuries? Like his job is that big? They're going to be living a luxury life in a different country?
Well, I don't know. I did see that, and I was wondering what he meant by that. But I'm wondering if it's just the luxuries of being able to be in a different country. You know what I mean? If you told me, hey, by the way, Zach, we're gonna get on a plane and we're gonna do this next podcast from Italy for the next couple weeks, I said that's a pretty good luxury. So I think maybe I think maybe it could just be the luxury of actually, being in a different country or having the experience. But they've never lived together. They've been dating for 6 months though. But now she wants to come with him.
Do we have an age on these people?
Yeah, we do have some ages. He says he's 35 and his girlfriend's 29.
Okay, so they're older.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so I feel like by 6 months you
older,
generally,
but
well, they're not like 18 or something.
yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
So I feel like by the time you hit the 6-month mark, you should have a feeling. Yeah, from experience, you should have a feeling of if it's gonna work out or not. If there's something up.
Added Sedona work for you. That was it. That was you guys knew each other for more than 6 months.
Technically, we knew each other for like 3 years, sorta, whatever.
Just never met. Just never met. So you would say, so you're saying run away.
Okay, hold on. So you would know, like, if you're already having arguments and stuff and you got some bad vibes. But here's the thing. It's your job, your place. So I say, why not bring her? If you break up, she has to leave because it's your place. You can stay. She just has to go. So if you think everything's going good, just go for it.
So go for it. Fly over there and then kick her out.
Depending on the
fly her back.
circumstance. don't fly her back. Just kick her out.
Welcome to Italy. Good luck.
Hope you speak the language.
Yeah. So this next question, this one's an interesting question. I don't think I've ever had someone ask me this question, so I'm pretty sure no one's asked you this question either. But his title of this is, I think I'm a future abuser and I don't want to be.
What?
Yeah, I know. I read that and I was like, well, this one's for sure going on the video podcast. He says he's never been in a relationship. To sum it up, he's pretty conservative household. He's never really pursued a relationship with anyone, but he's been reading up on stories of abuse, and he finds that he shares some horrifying amount of things in common with abusers. It's hard for him to control his his temper 98% of the time. He doesn't get physical, but he can lash out at some of his family members by insulting them. But the 2% of what scares me is that he doesn't want to be a piece of shit boyfriend/husband in the future, and that he's afraid that he'll get so upset and possibly abuse someone in the future. So he wants to know your advice and what he should do to, I don't know, protect himself and protect his future girlfriend, I guess.
Do we have an age on this guy?
He was pretty young. I think he was like 18 or 19.
I would say definitely go get some anger management classes or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I guess having a bit of a temper isn't necessarily the worst, but I'm guessing if he's saying he's comparing himself to an abuser, it's got to be pretty bad. So definitely go get some help.
But the weird thing is he's not even abused people. He's like, he thinks shares common qualities with abusers. You know what I mean? Like, he has never abused someone before.
But he lashes out at people, right?
But he says he lashes out and like curses at him or something.
So I guess that is kind of more of a like emotional abuse. So I guess it still counts. Like, is he talking about becoming physical? Probably, like going up to the next level.
Yeah, he thinks that he's gonna eventually become physical. Which I don't know how you like think that. Like, I don't think I've ever thought to myself, I'm like, man, I'm gonna be physical pretty soon.
I mean, I guess if you're thinking that, you probably got to the point where you were really close and you start just seeing red and hitting walls or something, maybe. But I don't know. I think the best way to go about this is getting some anger management or a shrink or something to get to the bottom of this, maybe some medication.
Definitely talking to somebody would be good.
Yeah.
Or medication. So,
And I can't prescribe stuff. I'm not a, what is it? What is it? What are those? There's two things. I can't remember what they were. They start with a P, right? A psychologist and a psychiatrist. One of them can prescribe stuff, and I'm not that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say he definitely needs some prescriptions, and he needs to talk to somebody. So, so the next question here, I should have brought this question up. I forgot to bring it up. So it says, my girlfriend, I don't have ages on this one, but can't stop buying plants. What do I do? So during the quarantine and during the pandemic, for her fun hobby, she's probably spent about $1,000 on plants the last 6 weeks. Every day she goes to Walmart, Lowe's, Home Depot. How does she bring that up? To
Bring it up higher?
How does she bring it up to her girlfriend or his girlfriend that she needs to stop buying plants nicely without hurting her feelings?
Did you say $1,000?
$1,000 in 6 weeks. $1,000 in 6 weeks.
Are they like? Does it say if they're around the house or in a garden, maybe, or in the backyard if she's planting trees?
It doesn't say where they're at. It just says that she goes to Walmart, Lowe's, and Home Depot and comes home with a new crop of plants in pots, and they're everywhere in the house.
Okay.
And he's losing his mind. What do I do? Is what it says. What do I do?
Well, first of all, it sounds like she's crazy. I got a couple of things here. One of them, maybe she's trying to help out the house, improve the air quality to get rid of the coronavirus. And then maybe, wait, do we have an age on this one?
No.
Okay, so I'm thinking this is probably a stretch because I feel like she would get a dog, but maybe she has baby fever and she wants to take care of something. So a bunch of plants. But $1,000 worth of plants. Let's see, a plant maybe like $10. I'm not sure how much plants go for. $10-$20. So
I mean,
like the higher part. Even on the higher spectrum, that's still a lot of plants for $1,000.
Yeah, I mean, if she's spending $100 a week though.
And if they're just sitting around the house in pots, like you got to run out of space. Like probably all over the floor, and
so you just got to wait till she runs out of space, and then you're gonna be like, so I think we should stop doing this now.
This is actually, I think, one of my fears too. Like. You know, like in Jumanji, the original one, where like all of a sudden the inside of the house became a jungle. Like, I feel like that's what it's gonna start looking like. I'd be freaking out in there.
Plants are gonna go through the floorboards and grab you.
Yes. I've been having nightmares. You need to tell her to chill. Maybe get her a dog. I don't know.
There you go. So the new hobby: go get a dog, or go play a game on your You can go play Farmville on Facebook. There's
you go.
Your plants right there.
Or impregnate her.
You got too many plant problems. I'm just gonna give you a baby.
I'm gonna plant my own seed right now.
Yeah.
See how you like it.
So I think that's all the questions that we have here for the Dr. Rodrick show. I think they're some pretty good ones, though. I liked those ones. I think the abuser one's my favorite. I don't know why, but it's just not a question that I thought I would have normally have gotten, or think I would have ever gotten from somebody. So, if you would like to submit any, questions to us, projectzeropodcast.com, or you can go and email them to us at projectzeropodcast@gmail.com. So, other than that, though, I think that was pretty fun. Make sure, and this is pretty much the end of our show here, but make sure to go to Project Zero Podcast and support us. Listen to our previous podcast. We've had things from Kim Jong-un when, at that time we thought he was dead. Who knows? He could still be dead. To the China war, trade war, whatever that war is. Or it could turn into a regular war or Cold War. But we got podcasts about a lot of things. We end up having about 2 or 3 podcasts a week. Make sure to subscribe to the channel because we will have some more video podcasts as well. We'll do some other things on the YouTube channel. I think we got some really fun little segments and things that we can accomplish. So, or at least have fun at the end of the day.
Definitely. I mean, this podcast is all about having fun, talking about news, talking about stuff, life.
Usually we play some games as well, Family Feud, which we'll be playing this Friday, and you can actually submit your name at projectzeropodcast@gmail if you want to be on there and possibly win some money as well. So
wait, did I win the last game? I can't remember.
You did win the
Probably
last
lost.
game.
Oh, I won it. Oh yeah, I think I won it at the end. Oh, that stupid question.
I think he's on 3 or 4 in a row. So
you might want to be on my team. So make sure you request me because I'm the leading champion.
Well, that's everything that we have here. I do appreciate you guys joining us. Make sure to like and subscribe and check us out at projectzeropodcast.com.